Have you ever wondered why some people stay calm while the world around them falls apart? Why do some people walk through chaos with confidence while others are controlled by stress, anger, and fear? What if I told you that one day, just one day, of applying the right Stoic rules could completely change the way you think, react, and live? Today, you are about to discover powerful Stoic principles that have guided great leaders, warriors, philosophers, and successful people for thousands of years. These are not complicated theories. They are practical rules that can immediately improve your peace of mind, strengthen your character, and help you take control of your life. Stay until the end because the final rule might be the one that changes everything for you. The first Stoic rule is simple, yet powerful enough to transform your entire life: stop trying to control what is beyond your control. Most people live trapped in invisible chains, not because life is difficult, but because they waste their strength fighting battles they were never meant to win. They lose sleep over opinions they cannot change, worry about futures that have not arrived, and carry burdens that do not belong to them. Every moment spent resisting reality drains your peace, weakens your focus, and steals your power. Stoicism teaches that true freedom begins the moment you stop demanding that life obey your wishes and start accepting it as it is. The weather will change, people will disappoint you, opportunities will come and go, and unexpected challenges will appear without warning. These things are not yours to command. What is yours is your response. What is yours is your character. What is yours is the choice you make in every moment. The instant you shift your attention away from what you cannot control and toward what you can, you reclaim the power that worry has stolen from you. Imagine how different your life would feel if you stopped wasting energy on things outside your reach and invested that energy into becoming stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. The strongest people are not those who control the world around them, they are those who have mastered the world within them. While others panic over uncertainty, they remain calm. While others complain about circumstances, they take action. While others blame fate, they improve themselves. This is where real peace is found, not in a perfect life, but in a disciplined mind that refuses to be shaken by what it cannot control. The moment you accept reality without resentment, fear loses its grip, anxiety begins to fade, and your mind becomes clear enough to focus on what truly matters. Success, confidence, and inner peace all begin at the same place: the decision to stop fighting reality and start mastering yourself. When your attention returns to your actions, your choices, and your attitude, you discover a truth that changes everything: nothing outside of you has the power to defeat you unless you first surrender the power within. The second Stoic rule is to master your emotions before they master you. Every person faces anger, fear, disappointment, jealousy, and frustration, but what separates the wise from the ordinary is how they respond to these emotions. Most people become prisoners of their feelings, allowing a moment of anger to destroy years of trust, allowing fear to keep them trapped in the same place, and allowing envy to poison their peace. Stoicism teaches that emotions themselves are not the enemy, losing control because of them is. Your emotions are like visitors knocking at the door of your mind. You cannot stop them from arriving, but you can decide whether they are allowed to take control of your actions. The Stoic learns to create space between feeling and reaction. When anger rises, they do not immediately speak. When fear appears, they do not immediately retreat. When frustration grows, they do not immediately complain. Instead, they observe, reflect, and choose their response with wisdom. In that small space between emotion and action lies the power that can change the direction of an entire life. Think about how many regrets are born from a few seconds of emotional weakness. A careless word spoken in anger can never be taken back. A decision made in fear can cost years of missed opportunities. A life driven by envy can never experience true happiness. The Stoics understood that real strength is not found in physical power, status, or influence, it is found in self-mastery. Anyone can react. Anyone can lose control. Anyone can allow emotions to dictate their choices. But very few people possess the discipline to remain calm when chaos surrounds them, patient when provoked, and focused when fear tries to distract them. The strongest warrior is not the one who conquers nations, it is the one who conquers the battlefield within their own mind. When you learn to observe your emotions without becoming their servant, you gain something far more valuable than temporary pleasure or victory, you gain control over your life. And the person who controls their mind becomes unstoppable, because no challenge, no criticism, and no hardship can easily shake the foundation of a disciplined soul. The third Stoic rule is to stop seeking validation from everyone around you. One of the greatest sources of suffering in modern life is the endless need for approval. Too many people spend their lives performing for an audience that can never be satisfied. They hide their true opinions, abandon their goals, and reshape their personalities simply to gain acceptance from others. They become trapped in a cycle where their happiness depends on praise and their confidence collapses at the first sign of criticism. Stoicism teaches a powerful truth. No matter how kind, talented, honest, or successful you are, there will always be someone who misunderstands you, doubts you, or disapproves of your choices. If you build your self-worth on the opinions of others, you give strangers control over your peace of mind. The moment you begin living for applause, you become a prisoner of judgment. But the moment you stop chasing approval, you reclaim your freedom. True confidence is born when you no longer need permission from others to be yourself and pursue the life you believe is right. Imagine the strength that comes from knowing your value is not determined by likes, compliments, recognition, or the approval of the crowd. When your identity is rooted in your character, your principles, and your actions, criticism loses its ability to break you and praise loses its ability to control you. You stop making decisions based on what will impress people and start making decisions based on what aligns with your values. The Stoics understood that the crowd is often inconsistent. Today they celebrate you, tomorrow they may criticize you for the very same thing. If your happiness depends on their approval, your peace will never be stable. But when you learn to respect yourself more than you seek validation from others, a profound sense of freedom enters your life. You become fearless in expressing your beliefs, courageous in pursuing your goals, and calm in the face of judgment. The strongest people are not those who are loved by everyone, they are those who remain true to themselves even when others disagree. When your self-worth comes from the quality of your character rather than the noise of public opinion, you become emotionally unshakable, and no external judgment can steal the peace that comes from knowing exactly who you are. The fourth Stoic rule is to embrace discomfort. In a world that constantly encourages convenience, ease, and instant gratification, most people spend their lives running away from anything difficult. They avoid challenges, postpone hard decisions, and seek the comfort of familiar routines. Yet the very comfort they chase often becomes the invisible prison that limits their potential. Stoicism teaches that growth is never found in the places where life feels easy. Every meaningful achievement demands effort, sacrifice, and perseverance. The strongest bodies are not built through comfort but through resistance. The sharpest minds are not developed through ease but through challenges that force them to think, adapt, and endure. The Stoics understood that hardship is not something to fear, it is something to use. Instead of asking, "Why is this difficult?" they asked, "What is this difficulty teaching me?" They knew that every obstacle carried a lesson, every setback contained an opportunity, and every struggle had the potential to make them stronger than before. Think about the moments that shaped you the most. They were probably not the easy days when everything went according to plan. They were the difficult days when you were forced to grow, adapt, and discover strengths you never knew you possessed. The workout that leaves your muscles burning makes you stronger. The failure that humbles you teaches wisdom. The rejection that hurts you builds resilience. The responsibility that feels overwhelming develops character. Every challenge that stands in your path is also an invitation to become a more capable version of yourself. While most people see obstacles as reasons to quit, the Stoic sees them as opportunities to train the mind and strengthen the spirit. Greatness is not created by avoiding discomfort but by walking through it with courage. The comfort zone may feel safe, but nothing extraordinary has ever been built there. The life you desire, the confidence you seek, and the person you want to become all exist on the other side of temporary discomfort. When you learn to embrace hardship instead of running from it, you stop seeing obstacles as enemies and begin seeing them as the very tools that shape your destiny. The fifth Stoic rule is to treat every day as a gift that could disappear tomorrow. One of the most powerful practices of Stoicism is remembering that life is temporary. The Stoics did not reflect on mortality to become fearful or pessimistic, they reflected on it to awaken themselves to what truly matters. They understood that time is the most valuable resource a human being possesses because, unlike money or possessions, it can never be replaced once it is gone. Yet most people live as if they have an endless supply of tomorrows. They postpone their dreams, delay important conversations, hold on to unnecessary grudges, and waste precious hours on distractions that add no value to their lives. Stoicism teaches that every sunrise is a reminder that you have been given another chance, a chance to improve, to learn, to love, and to become a better version of yourself. When you truly understand that life is finite, your priorities begin to change. Small annoyances lose their importance, meaningless conflicts no longer deserve your energy, and the present moment becomes something to treasure rather than ignore. Imagine waking up each morning with the awareness that this day is not guaranteed. How differently would you speak to the people you love? How much more courageously would you pursue your goals? How many excuses would disappear if you realized that time is quietly moving forward whether you act or not? Most people wait for the perfect moment to start living, but the Stoics understood that the perfect moment is the one you are living right now. Every day that passes is a piece of your life that can never be recovered. That realization is not meant to create sadness, it is meant to create urgency, gratitude, and purpose. When you remember that your time is limited, you stop complaining about what is missing and start appreciating what is already in front of you. You become more present with your family, more grateful for simple moments, and more determined to spend your days wisely. Life becomes richer because you no longer take it for granted. The awareness of mortality is not a burden, it is a gift that reminds you to live fully, love deeply, act courageously, and make every day count before the opportunity is gone forever. The sixth Stoic rule is to focus on progress, not perfection. One of the greatest obstacles to success is the belief that everything must be perfect before action can begin. Countless dreams remain unrealized because people spend their lives waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect strategy, or the perfect set of circumstances. They convince themselves that they will start tomorrow, next week, or next year when everything is finally in place. But Stoicism teaches a different lesson. Perfection is an illusion that often disguises itself as productivity while secretly creating paralysis. The Stoics understood that growth comes through action, not endless preparation. Every master was once a beginner. Every expert once struggled. Every great achievement started with imperfect steps taken by someone willing to move forward despite uncertainty. The path to excellence is not built by flawless execution from the beginning, it is built by showing up consistently, learning from mistakes, and becoming slightly better with each passing day. A small step forward, no matter how imperfect, is infinitely more valuable than standing still while waiting for ideal conditions that may never arrive. Think about the people who achieve extraordinary things in life. They are not necessarily the most talented or the most gifted. Often, they are simply the ones who refuse to quit. While others became trapped by fear of failure, they kept moving. While others obsessed over perfection, they focused on improvement. They understood that success is rarely the result of one dramatic breakthrough. Instead, it is the result of small disciplines repeated day after day, month after month, and year after year. The Stoic understands that every effort matters, even when the results seem invisible at first. A single workout may not transform your body, but hundreds of workouts will. One page of reading may not make you wise, but years of learning will. One act of courage may seem small, but repeated acts of courage build an unshakable character. The person who commits to improving just a little each day eventually creates a gap so large that those who waited for perfection can never catch up. True success belongs to those who embrace progress, accept mistakes as teachers, and continue moving forward no matter how slow the journey may seem. Because in the end, perfection is not what changes lives, consistent progress is. The seventh Stoic rule is to turn obstacles into opportunities. Most people see difficulties as barriers standing between them and the life they want. They view setbacks as signs that they should quit, complain, or feel defeated. But the Stoics saw challenges through a completely different lens. They believed that obstacles are not interruptions to life, they are life itself. Every difficulty arrives with a hidden lesson, every setback contains an opportunity for growth, and every hardship carries the potential to make you stronger than you were before. The path to wisdom, resilience, and greatness has never been free of obstacles. In fact, it is often the obstacle itself that creates the very qualities needed for success. The Stoics understood that smooth roads do not build strong travelers. Easy circumstances do not create powerful minds. When adversity appears, it is not necessarily there to break you, it may be there to shape you. The challenge that frustrates you today could be teaching the patience you will need tomorrow. The failure that disappoints you now could be preparing you for a future success far greater than you can currently imagine. When something difficult happens, most people immediately ask, "Why is this happening to me?" That question often leads to frustration, self-pity, and helplessness. The Stoic chooses a different question: what is this trying to teach me? That simple shift changes everything. Instead of becoming a victim of circumstances, you become a student of life. Every rejection teaches resilience. Every mistake teaches wisdom. Every setback reveals weaknesses that can be strengthened. The obstacle that blocks your path may actually be directing you toward a better one. History is filled with people who transformed their greatest struggles into their greatest strengths because they refused to see adversity as an enemy. They understood that pressure creates diamonds, resistance builds muscle, and challenges develop character. The Stoic knows that while they cannot always control what happens to them, they can always control how they respond. And when you learn to face difficulties with courage, curiosity, and determination, obstacles stop being walls that hold you back and become stepping stones that move you forward. In the end, the very challenges you once wished would disappear may become the reason you grow into the strongest version of yourself. The eighth rule is to guard your mind carefully. Your mind is the most valuable asset you possess. What you repeatedly think about becomes your reality. If you constantly feed your mind negativity, fear, and resentment, your life will reflect those things. If you fill your mind with discipline, gratitude, courage, and wisdom, your life will begin to transform. Be selective about what you watch, who you listen to, and what influences you allow into your mental space. Protect your mind because it shapes your future. The ninth rule is to practice gratitude daily. Many people spend their lives focusing on what is missing while ignoring what they already possess. Stoicism teaches that gratitude is one of the fastest paths to inner peace. The fact that you can breathe, think, learn, and improve is already a blessing. Gratitude shifts your attention from scarcity to abundance. It helps you recognize that happiness is not found in having more, it is found in appreciating what already exists. A grateful mind is a peaceful mind. The 10th and final Stoic rule is to become the architect of your own character. In a world obsessed with wealth, status, popularity, and external success, it is easy to forget what truly matters. Many people spend their lives chasing possessions, recognition, and achievements, believing these things will define their legacy. Yet when life reaches its final chapter, very few people are remembered for the cars they drove, the money they earned, or the titles they held. What remains is the impact of their character. People remember the courage they showed during difficult times, the integrity they demonstrated when no one was watching, the kindness they offered when they had nothing to gain, and the strength they displayed when life tested them. Stoicism teaches that your character is the one possession that cannot be taken from you unless you willingly surrender it. It is the foundation upon which every meaningful life is built. Every thought you entertain, every habit you repeat, and every decision you make is slowly shaping the person you are becoming. Whether you realize it or not, you are building your character every single day, one choice at a time. Imagine approaching each day with the awareness that every action is placing another brick in the foundation of your future self. When faced with temptation, choose integrity. When faced with fear, choose courage. When faced with conflict, choose wisdom. When faced with opportunities for selfishness, choose kindness. These choices may seem small in the moment, but over time they create a character so strong that no hardship can break it and no success can corrupt it. The Stoics understood that external circumstances will constantly change. Wealth can disappear, status can fade, and success can come and go. But a strong character remains steady through every season of life. It becomes an internal fortress that protects you from both adversity and arrogance. True greatness is not measured by what you accumulate, it is measured by who you become. The greatest achievement is not building an empire, earning admiration, or gaining power, it is becoming a person whose values remain unshaken, whose principles remain intact, and whose actions consistently reflect wisdom and virtue. In the end, your character is your legacy. Build it carefully, strengthen it daily, and protect it relentlessly, because it is the one achievement that will outlive every temporary success and become the true story of your life. Before you leave, I want to ask you one important question. Which of these Stoic rules do you need most in your life right now, and why? Share your answer in the comments below. Your experience, your struggle, or your insight may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Sometimes a single comment can inspire a person to keep going, make a better decision, or begin a completely new chapter in their life. And remember this. The quality of your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by the strength, wisdom, and character you bring to every moment. If this message added value to your life, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Join our growing community for more powerful Stoic wisdom, timeless life lessons, and practical guidance for building inner strength, self-discipline, and lasting peace. Until next time, keep growing, keep learning, and keep becoming the strongest version of yourself, one choice, one challenge, and one day at a time.